but what about the Murcielago? So my love for the NSX started back in 1990. I went to the LA Auto Show and I was in high school and I said, one day I'm gonna get that car. And that was my absolute dream. And when I hit, I think it was 1995, I believe, I purchased my first NSX. That was my absolute dream. That was the epitome of everything I wanted. And at that rate in college, that was a very expensive car. But I saved up, I valet parked through school. That was my job before I actually had my company. And I just saved my money and invested it really well. So the NSX has always been my dream car. I love it. And on top of everything else, it's a Honda. That means all you have to do is change the oil, change the spark plugs once a year, you're good to go. I was over in Japan with the NSX Club. It was a 10-year anniversary of the NSX being on the market. So this was year 2001. So we went over to Japan, a couple of my friends here from America, and it was an absolute blast. I loved everything about it. The Japanese people are so hospitable. So we're sitting there and at any given time, everybody's, do you need this? Do you need that? Giving us stuff. And it was just so polite. I was just overwhelmed completely by the by the country's just good mannered nature. So I'm sitting there. One day we go to the track and I think we're at the Twin Rings in Motegi, Japan. And we're sitting there with a couple of Japanese fellows and they invited us over to have a seat. They said, have you guys driven yet? We're like, no, we haven't driven yet. And they said, okay, well, I think we have cars. There were some cars for the Americans that we had slated for you guys to drive on the track. So if you go to paddock 19, 20, and 21, there's 3 cars waiting for you guys. I'm like, wow, I didn't expect this at all. So I said, okay, that's great. They're like, what about helmets? Do you have helmets? We're like, no, we don't. They're like, hold on a second, let me go get you a helmet. Meanwhile, a lot of people are taking pictures. I'm like, wow, they're really flattering. They're taking pictures of us and everything. So we're talking to these gentlemen. So they're running around all over the place to get us helmets. They come back with 3 helmets with us and they thank us. They said, have a great time and enjoy the track. I later find out this is the president of Honda of Japan that's running around grabbing us helmets to make sure we have a good time on their track and enjoy this time as Americans. That basically tied into me buying my third NSX. I've owned a 91, a 94, and now I own a 01 that I absolutely love. And I actually use this for racing, doing airfield events, and different events throughout Atlanta and actually throughout the country. This is the first one actually had nitrous on it. I really didn't use it that much because it wasn't safe to use. Second one actually had a supercharger, Comtech supercharger, which was the way to go. Third one, I said, you know what, I want more power. I want a lot more power and a lot clean power, so I decided to do a turbo system. So I actually sent it up to Love Fab up in Michigan and let them do all this work on a car to get it up to par. And right now, it's on its 3rd iteration, but I think we're just shy of 650 horsepower on that car. Knowing I love the NSX so much, I still had a passion for the Lamborghini that was always on my bedroom wall. There's no question about it. I always had the Lamborghini, the NSX, and a few other cars on my wall. And that was basically the pinnacle of where I wanted to go in my life. So when I found out later on in life that I was really doing well, everything was investing properly, I set my goals to first get a Ferrari. I wanted a Ferrari 355. Then I started thumbing through some of the receipts and I'm like, okay, I can afford this car, but I can't afford to keep this car. The maintenance records were ridiculous. So I said, you know what, let me stop. And that's when I bought my final NSX, the current one I still have for about 13 years. But beyond that, the Ferrari is always still in my mind, the Lamborghini is still in my mind. One day, I'm getting to the point where I said, you know what, I'm gonna jump to the 360. So I started looking around for 360s and a very close friend of mine said, hey, you know, Lamborghini is a very good option. I said, I know, but I can't really afford it. And I felt the maintenance might be more. So I started looking into it a little bit more and Gallardo now became my new target. So forget the 360, I wanted a Gallardo. So I started looking at the Gallardo more and more and more. And then the same friend invited me down to a Lamborghini event down in Florida and I got to drive all the different Lamborghinis. I said, okay, Gallardo's definitely great, but what about the Murcielago? I might get a Gallardo and that might be nice, but I would only trade it in for a Murcielago in a couple of years. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna keep working hard, keep saving my money, keep investing, and I'm gonna get a Murcielago. So within the next year, I finally got my blue, Hera Blue Murcielago.
As a luxury and exotic brand dealer, you know the challenge of putting the right price tag on perfection. Ritz Garage places you directly in touch with our qualified network of new and used dealers with no auction fees. Ritz Garage. Premium cars, premium dealers without premium fees.